Star Trek Discovery Season 3, Episode 2. I'm Joe. Please subscribe to this channel. This was sort of part 2 of the opener because Episode 1 had Part 1 in its title, but this had a different name and no Part 2, but I guess it was a Part 2 because Episode 1 focused solely on Michael and Episode 2 focused on the rest of the crew. The rest of these zany characters that have crash landed literally into the 32nd century, I think it is. And what happens is a bunch of their ship is damaged. So Saru and the Ensign Tilly head out to get supplies while the rest of the people try to put the ship back together. And they don't realize that the ice they landed in is parasitic and it's going to eat them up. And they have until the end of the night to get out of there, and that's what happens. And my first reaction to this episode when it was over was, well, that happened. It's kind of a nothing episode. It's weird. Like, the one thing about this show is that when they try to do something slow, it doesn't work. Like, it's almost like they have to have some crazy thing happening to distract you from they don't really know how to tell a story. I don't know. I don't know what it is about this show, but it's starting to, you would hope that this is when Next Generation found their groove, Season 3. I don't know if they're finding a groove. But let's take you through some things about this episode. My notes here. So the first thing you know is the future is bad. We've learned the future is bad. And why do we know the future is bad? Because planets don't even have names. What's this planet? Well, we never even gave it a name. It's called the Colony. How else do we know futures are bad? Because the husband from Medium passes as a bad guy these days. That's also where we see that the Federation has glimmers of hope everywhere, because the Colony I'm discussing is where Saru and the Ensign Tilly go to barter for whatever they need to fix their relays. And some bad guy's coming, and you guys gotta go because he's gonna want stuff. And a bad guy comes who's a courier that brings them supplies, but somehow the guy who brings them supplies is strong-arming them and killing them? And they just have a bar? But one of the guys, he believes in the Federation. He was waiting for the Federation to come. He's waiting for Starfleet to come. So the hope is still out there. So we get these little glimmers of hope that the Federation's still a glimmer in some people's eyes. That character is murdered by the end of the episode. But his friends, I see why he believed in you guys so much, because of the behavior of Saru and Ensign Tilly. Next is Jow. She's like the wild card. She's like the kooky wild card. She came along for the ride. She makes a comment about how she's with them in the 32nd century, and she's talking to the Non, who is now in the opening credits, by the way, and about how she wants to be here because Section 31 was going to put me in charge, and when you're in bureaucracy, that's when the fun ends. That was like some oddball Easter egg about how there was originally going to be a show of just her in Section 31, but now she's in the 32nd century, so how could she be in a show about Section 31? She's a cool character. The thing I mentioned before with the little colony, she shows up to help out and has a standoff with Saru about murdering a guy or not murdering a guy. Whatever. She's a cool character. We should have had her in her own show. The other thing we learned in this episode is something's wrong with Lieutenant Dittmer, the girl with the thing on her scar head. Something's wrong with her. She was walking around in a daze. What's wrong with her? We don't know yet. Is she been infested by Control, or did they not truly get rid of Control? Why is she in a daze? Why do we care that she's in a daze? We don't know yet, but something's not right with her. To be continued. And the big moment at the end is Michael saves them. When they're gone through their first little adventure, a big ship comes, pulls them out of the ice with a tractor beam. You know it's gonna be her. And it's her. She's got long hair now because she says, I've been waiting for you for a year. So a year has gone by. So it kind of makes sense that we went from her and a second episode about them. I'm guessing somewhere in the third episode, we're going to see little flashbacks of what she was doing for a year, maybe. Who knows? I don't really particularly know if we should care. This episode was really meh. I'm sorry, it was a meh episode. I'm not going to give up on this season. It set the table a little bit. I guess the most important things we can take away from it is that the Federation is still a glimmer of hope out there, but things are bad now. And now the Discovery's all together, and they're going to get through it together. There was some witty repartee between engineers. Not much else happened. Seriously, not much else happened. It happened. That was my review of this episode. It happened. Tilly's getting annoying. I know her character is supposed to be annoying, but she really is truly annoying. Saru's still the best character. Although he's really accentuating his walk. He's like doing that as he moves now. We'll see where it goes. Episode 3 looks like more stuff happens. It didn't really explain what the hell is supposed to happen in episode 3. But I'm going to watch it and I'm going to review it. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe to our channel. Until next time, I'm Joe.